It thirsts. Bring it to the pools. Enough! You have run rampant for far too long, Hellscream. But that stops now. Step aside, Pandaren. You confront a force beyond reckoning. Your father dabbled in powers beyond reckoning. Where is he now? Beside the Tauren, trolls, and others. You are nothing like them! They are no longer part of my horde! The world will hear of this. They will come for you. Yes, I'm counting on it. The armies of the world will come for me. And within my fortress, they will face all the terrible creatures I have wrought. The boundless power I have mastered. And one by one, they will fall at my feet. Anyone who would rise against my new horde will be impaled upon the spires of Orgrimmar! You, Pandaren, tried to bury your hate and your anger. But such power cannot be contained. It must be unleashed! A time will come when you will answer for your crimes. I answer to no one! Burn in the fires of my hatred.
So, yeah. I will say that's an awesome trailer. But yeah, there's a number of things to say about that. In case you're wondering what that was in that chest, that supposedly was the heart of the old god Y'Shaarj. Remember what I was hinting at earlier when we were doing the terrace about the last remaining remnants of the old god that died long ago? Yeah, this is kind of what I was referring to. The heart of Y'Shaarj. Now, I've heard some people say that that they threw out a theory that the things that Garrosh did was because he got corrupted by the heart of Y'Shaarj. Let me just say that while I'm open to that possibility that he may have felt some influence, I'm not really keen to say he was full out corrupted, or for those who perhaps say that everything that he did was because of the corruption of the Arbor, because he was like this buff, like when we first met him. We first met him back in Burning Crusade, and then he became a more recognized, or rather a more central and relevant character in Wrath. And he was like this back in Wrath. So, no, I'm not keen to say that he did this stuff because of he may have gotten corrupted by the remaining Heart of Yasharas or anything like that. Because, no. But it's also because I prefer that we avoid that, because I prefer the aspect in terms of what he's doing, just because that's just how he is. I've been one of those who has said that Garrosh is a character that you just hate, but you love to hate. I'm one of those who thinks he was a well-written character in terms of the things that he did, how he acted. You hated his guts, but you didn't mind him on your screen because of how well-written he was. You actually wanted more of him on the screen. You wanted to kill the guy, but because of the ridiculous, absurd, stupid things he did, but you liked having him on the screen. And you guys can know what I'm talking about in terms of certain characters like that, where you love to hate them. You know, you may you may hate them, but you actually really like having them on the screen. You guys can think of a number of characters, I'm sure, that you can compare that to. That's how I kind of thought of Garrosh, and I know other people think the same way as well. I thought it was awesome that, oh my gosh. I'm actually blanking on his name. Forgive me. Let me go to the dungeon here. Nope, wrong one. Terranzu, that's right, Terranzu, my bad. I thought the way Terranzu stood up to him was just awesome. Just fantastic. And there were a number of things that were said there about how he was like the Tauren, and I fought beside the Tauren and the Trolls, they are nothing like you. And Garrosh is like, that's fine, because they're no longer part of my horde. You know, this was pretty much the culmination of what Garrosh was doing along with the orcs. This vision of his of the true horde with just the orcs and everyone else. This was basically the rise of Nazi Germany. That's basically what Garrosh's disgusting horde with just the orcs was basically like. This, you know, if you know anything, you know, about some of those stances and such about elitism and, you know, like this higher echelon of people and species and blood and things like that. That's how Garrosh was looking at the orcs, that they were the superior race and everyone else was beneath us. They'd have no place in our world. That, you know, that kind of stuff from Garrosh. And this kind of stuff with these speeches, and he was really, really popular amongst the orcs, that many of them were willing to join him and be a part of this version of the Horde, which led into what we're about to go through here in this raid, where many of the orcs are defending him in Orgrimmar. Now, there's a number of other things I want to address before we really get underway here. For one thing, you'll notice we're back on my Death Knight. And that's because when it comes to trying to solo this raid, there's an encounter that I found rather difficult to solo because, well, I'll elaborate a bit more when we get there. But what I basically found out what I needed is someone else to be able to help defend a certain area while I did something else. So what I realized was that a few classes ideal for this would be either a hunter, a warlock, or a death knight, specifically an unholy death knight. And that's what we're going to be using here, is my Unholy Death Knight, because of my ghoul, to be able to help in that encounter. But there's another couple things I want to address as to why we're also doing it on this character and not the others. This was also the first time that they introduced Mythic. Mythic was introduced as a difficulty for a raid for the first time ever here in Siege of Orgrimmar. And they also did away with the option to select either 10-man or 25-man. That was no longer a thing. It was just either Raid Finder, Normal, Heroic, or Mythic. That's it. So, we're going to be doing this on Heroic. Now, you might be wondering, why are you doing this on Heroic? Why not Mythic? There's a couple of reasons. For one thing, or why you're not doing it on normal. For one thing, I found that doing it on Mythic actually takes away a certain quest that I want to end this with. I actually don't want to end this with just being the raid. I want to show you the quest that you get afterwards, which I think is a wonderful, nice, beautiful, like, wrap-up to the expansion, basically. But you can only get it if you do this raid on either normal or heroic. For some reason, the quest is not available if you do it on Mythic, and I don't understand why. If you do it on Mythic, you do get an extra cool-looking phase with Garrosh, but to me, I'd rather have the quest. But also, now, you might be going, but what about the other stuff you got on Mythic, like the mount? I don't really care about the mount in this raid. I honestly don't. If you're curious what I'm referring to, the mount is basically this boss right here. This boss right here is the mount that you get off of Mythic Garrosh, or at least you have a chance for it to drop. I really don't care for this mount. I think it's kind of silly looking, and I don't know how often I would actually want to use this mount. I'm pretty sure this is not a flying mount. However, there is one thing particular, specifically I want in this raid. It's from Garrosh. And you can only get it if you beat him on either Heroic or Mythic. And that item is this right here. The Tusks of Manaroth. His shoulder pieces. I want this really bad. And of course, since it's plate, you can only get it if you do this on a plate-wielding character. So that's why we're going to be doing it on my Death Knight, and we're going to be doing it on Heroic, because if we're going to do this, I don't want a chance to pass up getting the Tusks of Manaroth, but also, I want to get that quest that lets me be able to show you the nice wrap-up to the expansion. Okay? So, also, in case you're curious about the differences between doing this on Alliance or Horde, I've done both. And I found that I actually like the Horde version more because it just has a different tone and feel to it. I imagine some Alliance players, when they did this, they were like, yeah, we finally get to go to Orgrimmar and kill the Horde and slaughter them all because screw the Horde. And I'm not really exaggerating here. I've seen some pretty nasty, like, online stuff, forum posts from actual players about them saying the kind of horrible, horrible things they'd want to do either to the Horde or to Horde players. I'm not really kidding here. So, anyway. But the difference, one of the notable differences I noticed in-game is that the Horde version has more certain lines of dialogue, plus an encounter, a conversation with Varrock that is just not there if you play Alliance. Plus, this is a more emotional thing for Horde players. We built this city. Now, I'm an orc. At least the character I'd be playing here is an orc, but my main is an orc. If your main is a Tauren, or if it's a goblin, or if it's a troll, or an undead, you're probably not going to feel connection all that much. But for one thing, my main is an orc. Two, I played Warcraft 3. I did the campaign where we built that city from scratch. I was there with Thrall and Rexxar when we built Orgrimmar from the ground up. That's my city. And we're having to siege it from this idiot Garrosh. And there's just this feel of, I can't believe what we're doing to our city here. Look at this. Look at what Garrosh has done. It's just a different feel. The tensions stoked by Garrosh Hellscream's arrogance have reached a boiling point, with the destruction unleashed upon the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, which is what you see right here in front of you. Look at that. Leaders of the Alliance and the Horde lay siege to Hellscream's capital in order to topple the ruthless war chief once and for all. I found it hilarious that when the stuff started with Sylvanas and BFA, that many people were saying we were going to have a Siege of Orgrimmar 2.0. I doubt they would go that far as to actually recreate the raid and simply swap out Garrosh with Sylvanas, but I don't know. The thought of them actually doing that made me laugh. That they would actually be willing to go that far. So, did I cover everything I wanted to talk about here before we get underway? I think so. I think I did. So, let's do the heroic version of Siege of Orgrimmar. So I can hopefully be able to get the tusks. In case you're curious about other loot you can still get some pets and such. And some armor pieces. I have most of the normal set for the Death Knight here. I wouldn't mind getting the rest of the set. It's a decent looking set. You can see the heart. There's Garrosh's extra throne that's not in the Grommash hold, with the tusks, and there above it was the heart of Yasharaj. By the way, a little something else, because I've already done this once with my other Worgen Death Knight. I got this to drop. This is Garrosh's weapon in this raid. The desecrated image of Gorehowl. Look at this thing. It's covered, basically... I mean, look at those eyes. You could basically say this is covered in the blood of Yasharaj, which, if we remember anything about Wrath and what Serenite was, since it was basically the blood of Yogg-Saron, yeah. In fact, I'm pretty sure when I was wielding this as a transmog, not as an actual weapon, but as a transmog, I was hearing lines of dialogue from what sounded like Yasharaj's voice. If that's so, cool. By the way, in case you're curious about, hey, Gorehowl looks like a cool looking weapon. Where can I get it? Well, for one thing, you can get this Zalato, the desecrated image of Gorehowl. You can get this obviously from Siege of Orgrimmar. This you get off of Gorefiend in the Black Temple. Now, here are the other two versions. This is the Mythic version. And this is the LFR version. So I think this is the normal or heroic version, and this is the Mythic version, if you want to get that. Now, if you want just the regular version of Gorehowl, this drops off of Prince Malchezaar in Karazhan. Okay. Of all the places in this game that you could get regular-looking Gorehowl to drop, I'm surprised that was it. Though I will say Soul Cleaver does look like a more interesting version of Gorehowl. I'm just saying. Look at that. Anyways. Right. So in case you're wanting those, that's where you can get them. But I thought it would be interesting if we actually were wielding this as we're going through here. I hope those tusks drop.
We
Hey, Lord
adventure
Walker
together again. Except this time, I am afraid the circumstances are much more dire. The land is scarred. The ever-blooming trees and plants wither and die as the water from the pool strains away.
Okay. So we got plenty of trash here.
I'm out of range. Once, the Titans used these life-giving waters to create and shape all life in Pandaria. It is these waters that kept the Vale in bloom. Their runoff into the Valley of the Four Winds created the most fertile farmland in the world. And now, the malignance of the old god has manifested itself within the waters. Such a foul I don't have a target. Destroy it, before it seeps deep into the soil and corrupts all of Pandaria. It's too far away. I'm out of range.
All right. So, our first boss. Immersius. The ancient inhabitants of Pandaria recognize the vital importance of the life-giving pools of power, building an underground system of aqueducts to safeguard the waters and nurture life in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. The touch of corruption has animated and twisted these waters, and Immersius stands as an unnatural embodiment of the Vale's sorrow. Immersius begins with 100 corruption displayed as a visible power bar, and the objective of the encounter is to cleanse him by reducing his corruption to 0. Each time Immersius is reduced to 0 health, he splits into a mix of dark Shaw puddles and the watery contaminated puddles. Following each split, Immersius reforms with the reduced health and corruption depending on how successful the raid was in dealing with the two types of puddles. The cycle repeats until Immersius' corruption reaches 10 or lower, at which point he is cleansed. Let's do it. So you see the puddles split out. So you basically just gotta focus on the Shaw puddles. Certain classes obviously could be a little bit more effective at this particular raid here. By the way, if you step into the water, yeah, it kind of hurts. So you can kind of see where some of the puddles are coming. More of these we take out, the more he's going to get cleansed. I can just keep splitting him up. Though I'm noticing the bar is not very visible, it seems, anyway. So yeah, this can take a little while. You can kind of anticipate where they're going to land based on the ground there, with the little black ink spots on the ground. There we go. I know Immersius is
You
cleansed.
have done it. The waters are pure once more. Can you feel their life-giving energies flow through you? It will take much time for the veil to heal, but you have given us hope.
Alright. Let's move on forward. I wonder if the tusks would go well with this transmog. Probably not. I'd have to come up with a different transmog. Stomp! You know what I wonder? How many of those goblins are there voluntarily? And now they all just either died or got corrupted.
Can it be? Oh no.
Yeah.
No. The Golden Lotus? But they pledged their lives to defend this place.
You? Rook knows you.
Oh yes, Rook Stonetoe. You remember me. What has happened to you?
Rook doesn't know. Head is cloudy.
We know only despair now. A fitting punishment for our failure.
I see. This Shaw energy has trapped their spirits here to endlessly relive their failure. It feeds on their despair.
Please, help.
This is a fate far worse than death. Please, heroes, set their souls free.
Setting their souls free is what my master the Lich King does best.
Son!
Protectors, come to my aid. We have not fulfilled our oath.
Be at peace, dear friends.
Thank you.
May your souls become one with the land you gave your life to protect.
I was waiting to see if Cho was going to say anything more. Oh, look, we're back here in the Vale. And then you've got a bunch of these things as trash to either avoid or go through. Because of course we're going to go through this area that Garrosh completely ruined. I like how some of these are named after things like Vanity. Vanity! Zeal. That's the big one that we saw earlier.
I need to closer.
We're doing our part to cleanse this place.
It's too far away. I need a target.
Where are you two? We're right behind you, boss. Ugh. These poor goblins.
Astounding. Another chamber that looks to originate from these titans. It must have been hidden away long before recorded history. And with good reason. In the chamber ahead, under our peaceful land, slept the heart of an old god.
Halt!
Oh my, what is this? Hello, I am Lord Walker Cho.
No further corruption will enter the Heart Chamber.
Further corruption? Oh no, we are here to stop the corruption and save Pandaria.
Sorry, Cho, but the Titans see all of us as
Wish to
corrupted.
Purge the corruption?
Yes, please let us pass.
Should you pass this door at this time, you would fail. You, all of you, are corrupted with the insidious plague known as pride. You stand tall and proud atop your accomplishments, and this will be your downfall. Should you wish to defeat the corruption, you will first need to purify the corruption within yourselves. Speak to me again when you are prepared to face your inner demons.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to read the stuff on the Fallen Protectors, my bad. The Golden Lotus and the Shadowpan Guardians of the Vale of Eternal Blossoms were caught in the epicenter of the devastating blast that scarred the Vale and torn apart by the dark energies. Their spirits linger in the place they once protected, confused and tormented by their failure. Players battle the Brewmaster Stonetoe, the Rogue Softfoot, and the Priest Tenderheart as the three Fallen Protectors assault the raid simultaneously at 66% and 33%. Each protector performs desperate measures, manifesting spirits of fallen allies to bring new and powerful attacks. Okay. So this is Norushen. Some say that the Mogu race was created in the image of this titanic construct, left deep beneath Pandaria to watch over and guard the continent's darkest and most dangerous secret, the Heart of Yasharaj. Yep. Norushen seals all players inside a quarantine zone and extracts a portion of each player's corruption to form an amalgam of corruption. The object of the encounter is to destroy this creature. Players must reduce their personal level of corruption in order to inflict full damage to the amalgam. Players can accomplish this by interacting with the nodes of purifying light that active around the room, which will pull them into another phase where they must face a role-specific challenge. Overcoming this challenge will purify the player and allow them to inflict full damage to the amalgam. Shouldn't be too hard since it's just me. I would imagine what this was like with a full 25-man group. My eternal vigil has kept the corruption of pride at bay. To face this corruption yourself, you must purify yourselves in the burning light. This process will not go easily for you. Are you ready? We are ready, Keeper. Yes, begin the encounter.
Very well. Prove yourselves worthy, and I will let you pass. The light cleanses, but it is not 3, 2, yourselves and be
1.
purified.
Beware, 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 beware.
You have been judged and proven yourselves worthy, but be warned. What lies beyond will try your souls to their utmost. When you are fully prepared, you may enter the chamber.
Yeah, the next room is kind of fun. The Vault of Yasharaj. Taranzu.
The corruption is amplifying. The fragments must be purged before it becomes too great.
Oh my gosh, he's coughing blood.
Joe, the outsiders. They did this. We should never have let them in. No, don't speak, friend. I will take you to the healers. I will find help. Try to hold off the shore for as long as you can.
Yeah, so we have to clear this entire room of all these ads. And then we will face the Shah of Pride, the 7th Shah. The Shah of Pride was the final burden to which Emperor Xiao Hao clung. shrouding the land in mist and biding its time for millennia. When Garrosh awakened the heart of Yasharaj, the force of his arrogance caused this dark energy to coalesce in the chamber where the heart was unearthed. So we basically just have to clear this room of all the trash.
I'm out of range.
We do get, yeah, a corrupt explosion when removed. That, yeah. So the idea was that you had to keep taking this to try and avoid the explosions. Otherwise, you were gonna be able to either take a lot of damage to yourself or deal a lot of damage to other players. At least I think that's how it works.
I'm out of range.
What I really need to do is just kind of run through all of them with Unholy Blight and just kind of aggro as many of them as I can.
I need a target.
Remember, the boss won't spawn until we take care of all of them.
I need a target.
Once we take care of all of them, it will finally
did not
spawn.
matter.
Here it comes.
It comes. Steel your hearts and prepare your souls. Come, face me. Give in to your pride. Show me your greatness. So foolish.
I was about to say the same thing to you.
You've let your pride.
Oh gosh, maybe I am a victim of the Shaw of Pride.
I brought help.
Lorthamar! And
So
Jaina.
Hellscream's arrogance unleashed the last of the Shaw. I am not surprised.
Look
And
here.
look what's left over.
He left his weapon behind.
Gore Howl.
This means he's completely unhinged.
News to no one, Regent Lord. King Rin's fleet is converging on Orgrimmar as we speak.
Likewise, Sylvanas and I have both sent ships to support Vol'jin's revolution.
I'm warning you, Lorthamar. The Alliance is besieging the city, and we will destroy Hellscream. Your people had best stay out of our way.
It is always a pleasure to see you, Lady Proudmoore. Champions, come with me. It's time to settle grievances with our war chief.
Indeed, Lorthamar. And I love how even though she's basically threatening him, he is being very cordial. I guess could be a word we could use. He's like, a pleasure as always. So it's one of those things that how can you by the end of this expansion, it's like Lorthamar was just awesome, and it was like, I'd be cool if this guy was war chief. I'm just saying. Unlike this one here.
What joy is there in this curse?
Hold on. I need to spit on Sylvanas. There we go.
The rebuilding continues.
I like that they went ahead and gave Lorthamar his updated character model that he got in BFA for this. It looks really good. Glad you made it. Are we ready to proceed? Reporting for duty, Lorthamar.
will know prosperity again. Bladefist Bay is fortified. By the Sunwhirl, we're getting slaughtered. Heroes, port over to the docks and take out their shore defenses. Put a stop to this bloodshed.
I can raise your dead, Regent Lord. Your rangers can fight again.
Sylvanas,
Screw you,
will leave our
Sylvanas.
corpses alone, or I will deal with you here and now.
I'm sorry to see your lack of commitment. What of the human corpses?
Well, I suppose that's between you and the Alliance, isn't it?
Rise, my angels. Let your screams fill the streets of Orgrimmar with terror. Garrosh really has gone all out this time, hasn't he? I expected more spikes, honestly.
Can you see why some people were joking about, Oh, I thought Zayla was going to talk there. But can you see why people were joking about Sylvanas pretty much being the next Garrosh? I mean, she's like almost kind of in favor of what Garrosh is doing here. Like, I kind of expected he'd have more spikes. You know, almost like she's like, maybe I should do that when I become war chief. And she's like not even hesitating on the idea of maybe I'll just raise the Alliance's soldiers as part of my own. That's all she's talking about here. This is... I like that it shows her ship over here, another ship there. We have our full-on fleet here, and there's all the Alliance's ships over there. This is a full-on invasion fleet from both the Alliance and the Horde. Okay. We're almost at that encounter, but we have to first take care of all these cannons in order to help our fleet get in, because they couldn't approach with all these cannons because they're defending the docks very, very hard. So we had to go in here as a land invasion force and pretty much take them out on our own, in order to have the ships have a chance at actually getting to the shore. Right now I'm basically just trying to aggro all these guys. So, you have to take out these cannons. So the way you do that is you just kind of ignite these bombs that are next to them, because that's what they were using for the ammo, and blow them up. Once you destroy all 7 cannons, the landing party will come to the shore and join you. If you're in combat, it won't let you be able to ignite the spike mines. So you have to make sure that you get as many enemies as you can before you try this. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. Alright? And of course, make sure you move out of the way so that you don't get caught in the blast and take damage. Now you'll notice what's flying up above us. We'll talk about that in a moment, because that's actually the encounter that I realized I needed to have help if I was going to solo this.
I need to get closer.
I say that in a manner to imply that I'm using air quotes to kind of get my point across.
I don't have a target.
Alright. So these are the last 3 cannons. Let's take care of them. And then I'll kind of explain what I was referring to. If you know of a way to do this by yourself, like, I feel like there's something I may be missing here, because I've heard some people say they solo it every week with other classes that I would not recommend. I don't know.
You think you have won? We are orcs.
It seems
pure
extra hard.
blood, commanded by the greatest war chief who ever lived. Your blood will fill this bay.
That's Warlord Zayla. You remember her, right? From Cataclysm? The Dragon Maw. Weren't they wonderful? Is it no surprise that she became a huge fan of Garrosh? By the way, there, you see that Drake she's flying? You can get that if you because remember how I mentioned the Throne of Thunder, it had its own achievements? This one has its own achievements. Glory of the Orgrimmar Raider. The reward is that mount right there. As you can see, I have a ways to go before I can get that. I really want that. To me, that's a better mount than the Warrior Class Hall Order mount that the warriors get in Legion. But obviously it's going to take a while before I can get that. I would have to actually find a group and be like, hey, is there anyone who'd be willing to help me do this? So I'll have to wait and see. Alright, so this is the encounter I was referring to. So let me explain. Galacrus. Warlord Zayla formed a close bond with Garrosh during the events in the Twilight Highlands. That's what I was referring to. And she and her Dragon Maw orcs have pledged loyalty to Garrosh's cause, riding atop the fearsome Galacrus, a direct descendant of the cataclysmic progenitor of all dragon kind. Zayla oversees the naval defense of Orgrimmar. Players assaulted fortified towers as waves of Corcoran troops rush forth to repel them, and Warlord Zayla circles overhead on her fearsome proto-drake Galacrus. Meanwhile, allied demolitionists work to breach the doors to the nearby guard towers, allowing a strike team to enter the tower and capture it. Once both towers have been captured, the anti-air guns atop each may be used to bring Galacrus down to the ground for a final battle. Here's the problem with trying to solo this. When this encounter starts, our troops here are going to be kind of holding the line here, so to speak, against adds that will keep spawning and keep attacking them. These people have their own health bars, and it's the same way with if you're playing as Alliance, just the Alliance leaders. Anyway, the problem is that if they keep attacking, they'll eventually die if you don't protect them. Because I was trying this as a different class, and they kept dying. Because I had to keep trying to run back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Because goblins are going there trying to breach the door, so you can climb all the way to the top tower, get on that cannon, and shoot Galacrus twice. Once you shoot Galacrus twice, you'll be able to fight Zayla normally and be able to win the counter. The problem I kept experiencing, I couldn't be able to keep going back and forth to be able to run back up in time to get to the cannon, because by the time I would have a chance to do that, they would die because I wasn't staying down here and defending them. So, what the idea that I came up with was that if you want to solo this with either a Death Knight, a Hunter, a Warlock, here's what you do. You put them in defensive, and then you tell them, move 2. And now, I tell my 2 guys, stay right there and defend these guys.
We have made many sacrifices.
So now, great job taking out those cannons, hero. Are you ready to settle this for good? By your command,
well
Lord
done.
Orgrimmar.
The 1st Brigade has made landfall.
I see the Dragon Maw have thrown in their lot with Garrosh. My arrows alone cannot bring that monstrosity down.
Strategy, Dark Lady. We should repurpose the shore defenses. Heroes, take the towers. Turn the guns onto that proto-drake and blast it from the sky.
4,
Some of you will
3,
need to stay
2,
behind to hold the beach.
1.
Gosh, I would love to have that
Dragon
mount.
Clan, retake the docks and push them into the sea in the name of Hellscream and the True Horde.
Oh, bring her down quick, so I can wrap my fingers around her neck.
So you see, my ghouls were able to help defend them there. So I can stay up here and protect these goblins while they try to breach the doors. And once they breach the doors, I can go up and shoot the cannon while my ghouls stay down there and defend against this trash. I, of course, have other ways from up top up here as a Death Knight to... And then my ghoul just goes right back to the same spot. Love it! Love it, love it, love it. Now imagine doing this without having, like, a pet. As a hunter, your pet can be down there. As a warlock, your void lord can stay down there. So now imagine trying to do this without a class that, you know, a class that does not have a pet that you can stand down there and defend. And you see their health bars? Yeah, especially on Mythic, they will die often. That's why it was so frustrating. Not the red wire, the blue one! I love the goblins are arguing about which wires to cut to open the gateway to the towers. Alright, so now they've breached it. So now, I can go up here.
Try to take my tower?
They breached the tower!
You
Bring it
We are
down!
halfway there.
win this war.
Turn the siege weapons to attack that tower and bury them!
Sometimes I impress even myself.
There we go.
And down goes the dragon.
You do realize we are directly below
And now
it,
that I've
right?
shot her twice, I can be able to attack Galacrus normally.
You've come a long way to die!
There we go.
Finally. I will never get all of this dust out of my robes.
Oh, you're still here? I had kind of hoped you had perished. You would make a very attractive corpse.
I will take that as a compliment.
She just wished
We'll
that
hold the
he
docks for now
died.
and marshal the forces. Vol'jin should await you at the gates of Orgrimmar.
Huh, if he's not dead.
Our enemies will fall!
How did anyone ever become a fan of this character? I'm sorry, I've never been a fan of Sylvanas, and it's stuff like that that reaffirms, like, my position. She just said, oh, I'd kind of hoped that you had perished, because you would have made an attractive corpse. What? What? I hate Sylvanas. I hate her so much. The harbor defenses have fallen! Kukron, fall back and move to higher ground! Dark Spear offensive. We join in the Dark Spears! So up ahead is our next boss. The Iron Juggernaut. Again, that is the mount that can drop off of Mythic Garrosh. Maybe someday I'll get it or care, but honestly, if I never get it, if I never get it, no big deal. This mechanical terror, designed nearly as much for intimidation as destruction, is the centerpiece of Garrosh's siege weaponry, crafted in the image of the mighty Korkron, War Scorpion. The Iron Juggernaut guards the gates of Orgrimmar, crushing any who would rise up to challenge Garrosh's true horde. What? What? I find myself often being able to do a Garrosh impersonation pretty well. Hey, Bane. Hey, Vol'jin.
Don't be foolish, Vol'jin! You have no siege weapons left! You cannot win this battle!
Nazgrim.
Ain't no other way, man. We gotta stop Garrosh here and now. Else we'll be running the rest of our lives.
Perhaps our newfound reinforcements will aid us.
They must have taken the docks. Welcome to the fields of slaughter.
Perhaps
you get so much
there is
softer there,
hope
Guldan?
after all.
Alright, they're done. Alright, let's take this thing down.
Heroes, no doubt about that.
Blessing of the Earth Mother be upon them.
The beast be slain! You may have defeated my war machine.
Ooh.
Still stands. You will not take Orgrimmar today.
Anudora!
Tyrande.
What? Corcoran! To the gates! Now!
At them, my sisters! For Kalimdor!
There was Nazgrim.
Tyrande.
Oh my gosh.
Don't think we're here to save you, troll. We're here for Kalimdor. Get forces inside the gates, while we distract the enemy.
And that is typical Tyrande. She doesn't call him Vol'jin. She calls him Troll. Oh. I mean, I get why Tyrande... She's like she said, they're here for Kalimdor, because Kalimdor's as much the Nighthold's home as it is the Horde's, but... Oh my gosh, this is yet another character I can't stand. I'm sorry, but I have always hated Tyrande. And that was yet another example. The fact that she doesn't call him by his name, she just calls him Troll. And she says it in a very derogatory manner. You know she was basically insulting him there. Because she doesn't care.
It's too far.
Asa! G!
Have anything to say for yourself, Pandaren?
Nope! Don't you dare kill him!
Oh, gee.
Look at...
I am so sorry. We can be together now. Please, let us just go back to the turtle. Please do not die. I am getting him out of here.
So let me just comment on this moment right here. At how much I actually really love it. And this can go a couple of ways. One way is the way you just saw there. We saved G from getting killed. And Asa carries him off. Now, if you're wondering, do we ever find out what happened? He does live. And if you're a monk, you will find them both as trainers on the Wandering Isle in the Monk Order Hall. So, that's nice. My headcanon, because I'm a bit of a romantic, because if you make a Pandaren and do the Pandaren starting zone, you get to, you know, meet and interact with both of these characters quite a bit and see that G clearly was in love with Asa, and Asa, she was kind of, you know, she was more focused on her training and such, and not necessarily on any romance or relationships. But she kind of was aware, and she was kind of like, yeah, you know. And they kind of had their ups and downs. My headcanon after this, because, well, for one thing, you noticed how much blood he was, you know, and you're wondering, why were they doing that to him? Well, because he was a Pandaren. And they were either torturing him for information, or torturing him because, why not? Which sounds pretty awful. And that's kind of a point of what's going on here with this version of the Horde under Garrosh. But in my headcanon... Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering what the other what the other results can be here, they do kill G, and then they kill Asa. However, I much rather prefer that. And in my headcanon, she finally realizes how much she loves him. She takes him back to the Wandering Isle. He recovers. They admit they love each other. They get married. They move into a nice farmhouse in Pandaria, the mainland of Pandaria, or back to the Wandering Isle, either one. And they settle down, they have a bunch of kids, and they live happily ever after. Would that be so bad? I'm just saying. So now you'll notice this This is where it starts to really hit home if you're a member of the Horde. Keep in mind, if you're a Horde player, you come here pretty much all the time. This is Orgrimmar. This is our capital city. This is our main hub. We come here all the time to go to various different places. There's the auction house. There's one of the innkeepers. There's Nighthold to go see the war chief, and there's the banner board. There's the bank. There's just, you know, I know this city so well. I know Stormwind. At least I'm getting to know Stormwind better as well, but not as well as Orgrimmar. But now we are sieging into here, and we're going into here, and look at what the trash is. Yes, they're members of the Kor'kron, they're Dark Shaman, yes, but it's other members of the Horde. And look at this. You notice they're yellow there, right? Because they're not hostile. They're being, like, either held captive or being forced to labor. There are also, cages with prisoners of people of the Horde who would not submit to Garrosh. And I now have to go through here and take out... I mean, yes, they're members of the Kor'kron, but they're still... This is what Garrosh has forced me to do. This is what Garrosh has done to my city. To my Horde. Just...
I owe you my life.
Oh, thank goodness. I was so worried I was about to kill them. I'm so glad that I didn't end up doing that. Of course, I can just spread Outbreak to all of them, and then my ghouls can just tear them apart. Because if there's one thing we learned in Wrath, it's that the Horde has no chance of standing up to the might of the Scourge.
I can't. I'm so sorry. Please, find my babies.
Oh yeah, that's a Theramore citizen. That's another thing I forgot about this. Yeah, remember what Garrosh did to Theramore? You wonder why Jaina is so angry and hostile to the rest, to the Horde? It's because of what he did to Theramore. He mana bombed the place. Because. And it's no wonder that Jaina just has grown this hatred towards the Horde in general, even though it should be only mainly directed at Garrosh, the Treasurer.
I don't have a target.
This is for not taking care of the things in my bank! I'm kidding. I would imagine some Horde players had some humor in doing that, because it's the guy who helps watch over the bank.
It's locked.
Hey, man, find the key and let us out. Hey, how about you let us out? You know, I would if I could find some keys, and apparently none are dropping.
I need a target.
An overseer? The blacksmiths are free!
Strength and honor.
And you can take a moment to repair your stuff during the raid. I like how they're just still here, just kind of chilling, working like, work.
Find the key.
I believe the next boss is in here. Kor'kron Dark Shaman. Haram and Cardis trained thousands of shaman to whisper reverently to the elements to requisition their aid. The army of Garrosh, however, does not ask. They take what they desire in the name of the true Horde. Dark shamanism forces the elements into servitude, twisting them into burned out ash ash, corrupted waters, and toxic air. Yes, that is what dark shamanism does to the elements. By the way, remember, Magatha is one of them. You know, the one who helped Garrosh murder Cairn.
The War Chief ignored my counsel. I discovered he was building a compound beneath the caverns of Ragefire. Thrall and Sourfang have already gone down below. Go with caution. Hellscream has been assembling an arsenal down there. Goblin mercenaries, Pandaren artifacts, and some sort of darkness I can feel in my very soul.
Oh, that blood. Tend to your wounds, Eitrig. We need you.
Storm! And fire!
Tortured wind! Stay
Water! Stagnant elements! What have we done?
I can hear them no longer.
Yeah. As a shaman main, puh! I spit on you. Got a mace. And got some boots. Ooh, Wolf Rider spurs. I like the name of those. No, they've taken over the auction house. No, this will not stand. Go, auctioneers, go, be free. Be free so that we may go to you later for things in the auction house. The meat vendors and regents are just like, business seems to be slow today. I wonder why. It's like, oh, that's right, I can mount. I'm so used to not being able to mount in raids, that sometimes I forget when I actually can. Peons, no! What are they doing? You know what? You Blade Masters can just chill. No! The Shadow Mage has taken over the Transmog Room! Though that place doesn't matter to me as much anymore now that I have my yak, but whatever.
Our enemies have finally
Alright, now to meet one of the coolest characters ever. Not this guy. That guy. Gammon! Trainer. Oh my gosh. The trainers are all lined up here for target practice. And they already killed one of them. Hey, thanks. While I'm here, you want to browse my wares? I got this stuff new from Pandaria. Won't be cheap. War times, you know. You're the best. I'm out of here, stupid orcs. Always hated the orcs. I owe you my life. Thanks.
I got what you need. Pleasure doing business with you.
That... You remember what I said about how they were basically... This was basically the rise of Nazi Germany. Why do you think they shot and killed this poor little goblin? Because he was a goblin and not an orc. I like that there's an entrance out of the raid here for people who like need to step out. But here is one of the coolest characters ever, the mighty Gammon.
Thank you. I may be bruised and beaten, but the hatred boils inside me. Many times have I fallen at the hands of an orc, and many times have I risen again. But never again. For every orc that struck me, I will cleave 1,000 of their skulls. This ends here. I, Gammon, will save us.
And so he leads the charge into the Shadow Cleft so that we may go after Garrosh and the rest of his forces. By the way, he has a Doom Lord here. I will not burn like the rest. Face the demons you fear, traitor. Gammon, wait. Don't go too far without me. I want to make sure you live. He can die. Notice we are now going into Ragefire Chasm. I love that this raid is going into places we have been before, like this. But it's also going even deeper than that. Just wait till you see how deep this place can go. When we actually get to the, you know, how far we have to go before we actually get to Garrosh's throne room.
It's too far.
Now you would have thought his throne room is back in Nighthold. Oh no, 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 no.
So, it has
He's just
come
standing
to
there amongst
this.
all those
Together,
ads.
we have learned and grown over the years. And now, we find ourselves face to face on the battlefield. Oh, do not think I will go easy.
Oh, Nazgrim.
Nor do I expect any quarter. What we do now, we do for the Horde. Both of us.
Nazgrim. Once a grunt in service of the former war chief Thrall, General Nazgrim rose quickly through the ranks after overwhelming victories in Grizzly Hills and the sunken city of Vajir. Fiercely loyal to the Horde and bound by a rigorous code of honor and duty, Nazgrim will hold the line for his war chief until his dying breath. So let's be clear about this. He's not someone who's here because he's in favor of what Garrosh is doing. He is here out of a sense of loyalty and honor because of his position as a general of the Horde. He feels that as a general of the Horde, he is bound by honor to serve the war chief. That not by joining Vol'jin's rebellion, he would be betraying his honor and that code of loyalty that he vowed he would serve the war chief loyally, because he feels it's the honorable thing to do. Not because of being in favor of what Garrosh is doing. He just feels that he's bound to this sense of honor that he has to follow Garrosh. Otherwise, he'd be losing his honor. And it's just what feels so tragic about having to do this as a member of the Horde, and you'll hear it even more when we beat him. What he says. General Nazgrim is a powerful warrior who builds rage by damaging players with various abilities, and periodically spends that rage to unleash powerful attacks. So basically like a warrior class. Throughout the encounter, mixed groups of 3 Kor'kron troops at a time stream in to assist their general. I like that Gammon is waiting for us to start the encounter. By the way, just as a reminder, after this, Nazgrim is dead. And then in Legion, and this is appropriate because I'm on my Death Knight, in Legion, this Death Knight will go outside to his gravesite and raise him as one of the new 4 horsemen. Because it's Nazgrim. Because he's that awesome that he was deserving of the honor of being a powerful Death Knight like one of the 4 horsemen.
All that you have won.
That's how highly respected Nazgrim was by the Lich King. Because the Lich King was like, yeah, Nazgrim is awesome. Have him be one of the 4 horsemen. That's saying something.
It is an honor to finally face you in combat, Lothar Gar, for honor and for the Horde! You are an honorable orc, Nazgrim. I regret what I must do.
I stood by you, Chief, because it was my duty. And I am glad that it was you who struck me down. May your strength lead the Horde into a new era of...
You fought with honor. Gammon will ensure that your legacy lives on. For the Horde, my friend.
You don't get this kind of dialogue if you're playing this as Alliance. Because you're Alliance. He would see it as an honorable thing to do in his duty to slay members of the Alliance. As Horde, you are sad having to take down some of these people because they're your companions. Oh, this feels horrible, having to take down Nazgrim like this. He did it out of a sense of duty. Now, as I mentioned, this is not the last we would see of Nazgrim, because Nazgrim would come back as a Death Knight and as a horseman. Now, I will say, oh, I got a mace from him, a 2-handed mace. Look at that. Oh, that looks amazing. That's a really good-looking mace. Oh, yes, please. Thank you, Nazgrim. And of course, I figured, of course Nazgrim would be like, okay, sure. Like, when we bring him up as a Death Knight, I showed this in my, if you want to see, head on over to my Death Knight playthrough, where you'll see this character. He was a troll then. He's an orc now. Forget that. Just ignore that. You'll see when we raise him as the Death Knight to be a horseman, we tell him, yeah, the Burning Legion is here. And he's like, say no more. I'm with ya. Because, of course, Nazgrim would be like, oh, the Burning Legion's here? Sure, I'll help you out. Let's go kill him. Because that's how awesome Nazgrim is. And now we descend even further. This was the end of Ragefire Chasm, basically. That little area right there. And now we're descending even further. This is astounding, what was built down here below Orgrimmar. Look at this! How long did Garrosh have them working on this? And look at how many more forces are still down here.
Nazgrim
how many Kor'kron are here?
Kor'kron, destroy these intruders.
Yeah, I have no problem killing these Kor'kron. They're awful. They are awful people. They are basically Nazis. This is like Wolfenstein. It's like, yep. Oh, you can let me shoot Nazis in the face? Yes, please. It's that same kind of sensation you get when playing a Wolfenstein game.
I don't have a target.
It's a shame you can't get rep in this.
I need a target.
Whew. Lots of gold. A dark farseer? Yeah, screw those guys. In case I haven't mentioned already, yeah, this is just about as long as Throne of Thunder. Man, I love how doing this with the Death Knight, I can use Outbreak and just basically just pow, just clear them out like that. Alright. This is our next boss. Malkorok. Malkorok has been Garrosh's most loyal and trusted lieutenant throughout the Pandaria campaign. When the war chief needed a volunteer to infuse with the power of Y'Shaarj, it was only natural that Malkorok would offer without hesitation.
I will never fail the war chief.
And that's why you need to die.
You die for the war chief is an honor.
Ooh, the halberd of inner shadows. Let's get a move on here. Look at how large this place is. Sounds like Malkorok just tore apart those intruders. I've got a bad feeling it's way too quiet in here. Ah! I'm just gonna go straight through here. There's another of those things. Come on.
Garrosh be concealed in a whole hidden base. Where did his lust for power take him?
We will soon find out. He is cornered like a rat in one of these corridors. What should we do next?
Bane, you and your warriors hold this junction. These heroes should forge ahead and flush the war chief out of hiding.
What about you?
People be dying up above. The city is in chaos. I'm gonna finish it. Stop the bloodshed. I'll come back for ya.
Very well.
It's gonna be fine, Bane. We're gonna find Thror. Gonna kill the war chief. Gonna avenge your father.
Earth Mother, protect you, Vol'jin.
Dark spear never die.
So yeah, just kind of ignore my conversation there with my friend. But yeah, Vol'jin and Bane are just kind of helping be the driving force here. But like, yeah, even they were surprised that they're like, oh my gosh, he has a whole base hidden under here. Next, you and your warriors hold this junction. What about you? People be dying up above. The city's in chaos. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna stop the bloodshed. I'll come back for ya. I'm gonna be it's gonna be fine, Bane. We're gonna find Thrall. Gonna kill the war chief. Gonna avenge your father.
It's too far away.
You know what? Just to avoid any other... I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah, there we go. Just to avoid any other awkward situations for any of my friends in case they whisper me about something. Be like, look, I'm recording. If you want to say anything, you may want to wait until I'm done. We're Master Crack.
I have a limitless supply of Korkron at my command, you fools! Surrender now, and I will give you a quick death.
Alright, so we have 3 different directions that we can go here. I'm gonna actually go this way first. No, you know what? I changed my mind. We're gonna go this way first. Because there is a boss in here that a lot of people absolutely hate. I like how it shows me running through here.
So Garrosh thinks it can cheat old Grizzle out of a payday, huh? Oh, hey now, what do we have here?
Oh, look. You're the ones that smashed up my juggernaut. Let's see how you like the newest addition to the War Chief's arsenal, the Iron Star.
Go get it, boys. That contraption's got nothing on real goblin engineering.
You may regret that.
Oh, maybe it does. I better, go check on the others.
If you're Alliance, I believe Moira is with you, along with other dwarves.
Show 'em who's boss!
Or gnomes. I don't remember. But Moira Thorison is basically the one who is with you if you're here as Alliance. So that was Blackfuse. Now, in lore, well, let's read this. Helix Blackfuse was the only goblin with the combination of engineering prowess, professionalism, and ruthlessness to satisfy Garrosh in his search for the engineer of the true Horde. A mercenary at heart, Blackfuse's love for his creations and the gold that they fetch has forever linked his fate with that of his patron and war chief. And that is why Blackfuse is working for Garrosh. Because, well, he's a goblin. He's like, okay. But the only reason that Garrosh is tolerating him being a part of the Horde, because remember, Garrosh was letting the Korkron use the goblins for target practice. However, Blackfuse was an exception because he was so intelligent as a engineer and as a mechanic that Garrosh was like,
perhaps I can find a use for you in my Horde, even though you are a goblin.
So you have to start off taking these guys out. He's over there. We'll be able to go down to him in a minute, but we can't just yet. You're screwed! Get it? Because he has a drill for a hand? Get it?
Alright, Shanna, you're up!
Run away, little girl. Run away. Run away, little girl. Run away. I'm out of range. Run away, little girl. Run away, little girl. Run away.
Alright. So now I believe we can actually face him. So let me see if I can go through this to try and help figure out, or rather enlighten as to why so many people hated this boss. The fight against Black Fuse unfolds amidst a weapons manufacturing assembly line. Each time the conveyor belt activates, 3 disassembled weapons in various types roll out, and players may access the assembly line by jumping into nearby pipes to destroy one of the 3. The remaining 2 will be activated and assault the raid until they slide out of view. Take turns going onto the assembly line to destroy one disassembled weapon per wave. Automated shredders make normal attacks ineffective against them. You can kind of start to get the idea of why many people would have hated this raid. Let me see if there's an extra thing here when it comes to Mythic. At least not in this one here. Mythic. When activated weapons arrive on the assembly line, Black Fuse will overcharge one of them, increasing its power and effectiveness. Oh my gosh. Overcharged missile turret. When overcharged, the shockwave missile turret will fire shockwave missiles which persist and continuously barrage the platform. Oh gosh. Overcharged. Oh my goodness. No wonder people hated this boss. Those sound just infuriating.
Let's settle. Don't think you won. My legacy will live on.
Uh-huh. Insert Mario, tube sounds here. So now let's head to the other side. Oh, this next boss. It's not that bad, but I can imagine how much more difficult it is, especially back in the day when it was live, especially on Mythic. Oh, man. Nowadays, it's not so bad, but, whew. And keep in mind, I'm doing this on Heroic, not Mythic.
It's too far away. Behind the target.
This is our next boss. No, I'm serious. The Spoils of Pandaria. Yes, it's as it sounds. When Garrosh gazed across Pandaria, he saw untapped power. During the course of his campaign, Garrosh has plundered weapons, treasures, and artifacts of the Pandaren, the Mogu, and the Mantid. They are kept in a warehouse deep within his underground base, guarded by a mysterious security system that appears to be of Titan origins. Players trigger the self-destruct mechanism in a Korkron treasure storage. Breaking open crates and defeating the enemies contained inside releases Titan energy that charges the manual override levers that are used to shut down the defense system before it destroys the storeroom and everyone trapped inside. 2 of the 4 quadrants of the room are accessible initially, and the other half is unlocked once the first 2 override levers are pulled. Activating and pulling all 4 levers completes the encounter. Yeah! Now I like this. A large device of unknown origins hums in front of you. Several words are scratched into the side. Goblin Titan Control Module. It appears to be protected by a voice recognition module. Helix Blackfuse. Look, for the True Horde.
Hey, we recording? Yeah? Okay. Goblin Titan Control Module starting up. Please stand back. Checking out the datas. Hold on a second, will you? No. Now you did it. That was
5,
really not the correct input code.
2, 1.
Activating GB 11010 Armageddon class defense systems. Hey, does anybody know if we're zoned for this?
So you basically have to click on these to open them. Just the more you open, the more energy is going to fill, allowing you to be able to finish this quadrant of the room. The bigger the crate, the worse the enemy, and the more energy you're going to get. Now, of course, because I have ghouls to help me out, they'll be able to just simply attack these things for me. Defense systems activating in that long. So you basically just have to focus on trying to open as many of the crates as you can.
Beware.
And that is done.
Beware.
System reset. Module 1 at 50%. Hey, system reset requires 2 modules to complete.
I know, that's why I'm heading to the other room now. Ugh.
Beware.
And this is the Mantid room. All the Mantids, all the amber.
Beware.
Module 1's all
There we go.
prepared for system reset.
And then the timer restarts. So you can do the other half of the room.
4.
Those bombs off.
Beware.
I mean, just look at all this stuff. Look at all this stuff that Garrosh was like, yeah, I'll take that for myself. It's not like they're going to need it.
Initiating system reset. Module 2 at 50%. Hey, system reset requires 2
And now we go to
modules
the other one.
complete.
So we have to go here now. Why would he take all these mantids? Why would Garrosh care about the mantids? I mean, unless he thought the amber and all that would somehow benefit, but as I pointed out when we did Heart of Fear, it actually wasn't that much of a benefit. He had a whole commander in there. Get this bomb off me. I think that might be enough. Yes, it is.
System resetting. Don't turn the power
And that's the encounter.
on, or the whole thing will probably explode. Security system deactivated. Welcome back, Siegecrafter Black Fuse. Have a great day, and don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Alright. Not really getting anything... Well, not that much. I've gotten a few things, but... Eesh, we're approaching... We're on our way to a couple hours with this one. But I kind of was expecting this. This is, after all, a huge raid. Now, this next one... Thok the Bloodthirsty. You'll see him in just a moment. The Menagerie.
It's busting out of the cage. I'm the shock collar. Get that thing under control. Shock it until it can't
Other
move
things
anymore.
here are breaking out as
It's
well.
causing a riot in here.
Look at all these captive animals.
Deal with the devil.
When the Isle of Giant...
Then we'll lock the rest up.
When the Isle of Giants was discovered off the coast of Pandaria, teeming with primal devilsaurs, Garrosh sent troops to capture some of the most fearsome specimens, hoping to subjugate them and use them as beasts of war. Countless orcish beastmasters have fallen to Thok's jaws as they struggle to tame him, yet the creature's thirst for blood remains unstaked. unslacked or unslaked. Fun fact, as a hunter, you can actually now tame this boss. No, I'm serious. Yes, you can tame him. In fact, my hunter has him as a pet, because why would I not have that incredible, mighty, powerful, beautiful T-Rex? I know he's a Devilsaur. I don't care. He's a T-Rex. As my pet. Fighting at my side. Yes, please. What happened to my ghoul? Rise from the dead.
I'm out of range.
What? What I just said is not terrifying.
Forest,
Not terrifying at all. I'm sorry, was that the line from Yasharaj I was just thinking about? Remember what I said earlier about how sometimes I'll hear what sounds like the voice of Yasharaj in my head while using this transmog? I think that's what I just heard. Whoa!
It's too far away.
A starved Yeti just running around. Ran right into me. They are struggling to hold Thok. I was trying to do a joke where I'm like, I don't look fearsome at all. A Jinyu prison. Apparently, I can't unlock these. But look at all the prisons that are here. All the prisoners.
I need to get closer.
Down, boy. Yeah, I already had that. So now, the lock on that main door back in that other room has opened up, because that's going to lead us to where Garrosh is. So now we just have 2 bosses left. Yeah, I can tell you what, that voice we heard, that was not the Lich King. I'm convinced that was Yasharaj, because I'm using this. And the fact that you can still get that while using this as a transmog, I think is awesome. I think that's really cool. And you know what's unfortunate? And I'm sorry I didn't catch that was happening. The dialogue for those lines don't show up here. There's no subtitles of that being said. Which is really unfortunate and such a shame. I'll bet I could look up the lines that you can hear while using this. It's gonna take us a little while to run there, so give me a second. Hold on, what's the name of this called? Zalato. Yep, I was right. So according to Wowhead, Zalato will occasionally whisper to its wielder, much in the same manner as the corrupted Ashbringer does. Gosh, I wish I could be able to get the corrupted Ashbringer appearance for my paladin. I would love to be able to have that as an option. So before Sourfang, Varrock, he's up ahead. We'll talk to him in a moment. So here are some of the whispers that you can get while wielding it. You should kill them all. You must kill them all. Eyes are the windows to the soul. Shutter them forever. Pluck their wings. Leave them broken. Pay the cost of greatness. All should bow before you. Make them. All that you have accomplished, all that you have won, yet still you lick the boots of kings. Carve more slowly, that I may feed. Embrace your rage. Caress your fear. Gorge your hatred. Voice your doubts. When you walk among the Black Forest, you will see. I think that's what he was saying, because I heard him say the word forest. I can taste the essence of your soul. It is sweet. Now, apparently he has a few lines when you die. If you're wielding this and you die, he says, with each thread unraveled, a step closer to my realm. Another blemish on your soul. And finally, you will rest in Neolotha. Neolotha, by the way, is the sleeping city. Neolotha, the sleeping city, is a place that is mentioned in whispers from the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron, as well as this weapon, and from Xal'atath, the Blade of the Black Vampire, and Il'gynoth. Zakul, the Harbinger of Neolotha, is a servant of N'Zoth. Yeah. Neolotha may have some association with a wood or forest based on the mysterious whisper. Based on the whispers, explicit descriptions of the city in the land of Neolotha, there is only sleep. It is possible that Neolotha is located within the Emerald Nightmare, but may have originated from somewhere in the world of Azeroth. Y'Shaarj also mentions the forest when wielding the weapon. So, that whisper about the forest is what he's referring to. I just love that you can get this with a transmog and not while wielding the actual weapon. Okay, so we have some Dead Manted. Varrock!
Ah, more of Vol'jin's revolutionaries. You've made it. Have you found Thrall? I am badly hurt. He insisted on going ahead alone. Tell me, how goes the battle up above? What of Nazgrim? Speak to me. Ah, Nazgrim, a great leader and a fine warrior. He valued his oath to the war chief more than his life. I tried to tell him that Hellscream betrayed us, cast aside a war chief's responsibility to his own people. But Nazgrim, too loyal, too proud. Damn Hellscream. His ambition tore our horde apart. Go on, find Thrall, finish this. I will live.
I like how he took a moment to put that thing out of its misery. It was still writhing, like it was still alive, and he didn't want to leave it just kind of suffering and bleeding out to death, so he just gave it a quick death so that it wouldn't die, like, suffering in pain. That's the kind of guy Varrock is. Nazgrim was awesome, and Varrock is awesome.
Look, brothers,
That
the
is why
Awakener is
I'm
here.
fully behind Varrock.
They made it this far? I told you the others needed some microsonic genetic alterations. How illogical. Did they not hear your warning, Kilrak?
We Mantids serve a power far greater than they or their gods.
It matters not. The Old One will not suffer their intrusion.
We have endured the usurpers, their children, the loss of the Old One, and soon, you.
We will slay you all as easily as we slew the Pandaren of old.
And then the Old One will remake this world for the Mantid.
Come, children of the Titans. You face the Paragons.
The Paragons of the Klaxi. The 9 surviving Klaxi via Paragons are ancient champions of the Mantid who fought alongside the Awakener against the madness of Empress Shek'Zir. But the Paragons, as do all Mantid, hold a far deeper loyalty. When Garrosh unearthed the heart of Y'Shaarj, the Paragons followed the whispers of their ancient master to the iron halls beneath Orgrimmar. Yes, the Klaxi and the Mantid are loyal to the old gods. So because Garrosh found the heart of Y'Shaarj, they followed Garrosh.
It's too far away.
Come on, Paragons. Let's go. Let's do this. By the way, I think that's the chest. What am I doing here? Oh, wait, I have to hit this to start the encounter. That's right.
Time for a little target practice. Perhaps I could have used
Avenge me, brother.
You move too slowly. The hunter
You now face the pride. How thou return me
Have you come to try taking unconscious Awakener?
Carry you one last try. It's feeding time.
Well fought, Awakener.
Alright. And now, it is time. And there's the chest that held the heart. Bloodthirsty. So many enemies waiting to be cut down like fiends of grass before a farmer's scythe. Huh. I wonder why it got that buff and why it lasts an hour. Interesting.
I'm out of range.
Oh, well, I'm sure it's something serious. More Corcoran. And these are remnants of the corruption of Y'Shaarj. By the way, we're approaching Garrosh's new throne room.
It's too far away.
By the way, remember, Thrall is supposed to already be there. Alright. Before we really get underway here and go inside, let's read this. Garrosh, son of Grommash Hellscream, first learned of his father's heroism when Thrall encountered the young orc in Outland. The seeds of pride were planted. Garrosh spearheaded horde victories in Northrend. No, he didn't. We did. The players, our characters, we are the ones who did all those things in Northrend. He took all the credit for it. And as war chief consolidated horde power amidst the chaos of the cataclysm. But his visions of orc supremacy by any means have brought the armies of the world crashing down upon Orgrimmar. A final reckoning that Garrosh himself awaits with brutal relish. Yeah. Already have that. Oh, I want those tusks. I want those tusks. Give me the tusks. Yes, that is the heart above his throne.
It is not too late, Garrosh. Lay down the mantle of War Chief. We can end this here, now, with no more bloodshed.
Ha! Do you remember nothing of honor, of glory on a battlefield? You who would parley with the humans, who allowed warlocks to practice their dark magics right under our feet. You are weak. We are the Orcish Horde, the true Horde. We die, bloody and thrashing on the field of battle, like true orcs should. You are an orc no longer, and speak for none but yourself. You betrayed our people to forge your fragile alliances, and I will take great pleasure in tearing them apart.
Then you have forced my hand. I will correct the mistake I made long ago. Spirits of the wind, the earth, the water, hear my call! Come to my aid!
Fool! My dark shaman have twisted and tortured the elements for miles around. They cannot hear you now. Once again, you prove too weak and powerless to do anything.
Never powerless, Garrosh. And never alone.
So, you wish to face off against a real orc war chief. So be it.
Sit this one out, Thrall. I got this.
Garrosh, son of Grom, will show you what it means to be called Hellscream.
2, 1.
Anger, hatred, fear. They are weapons of war. The tools of a war chief. Yes, I can see it now. I can see the future of this world. A world ruled by the Horde. My Horde. The Old One calls to you.
The realm of Yasharaj. Stop Garrosh from absorbing power.
You will die when you leave this place. There is nothing left of your world.
will come to pass. I have seen it. It has shown me. I have seen mountains of skulls and rivers of blood.
4,
and I
3,
will
2,
have my world!
Beware.
Look at what it has done to him. Look at this. Oh, he actually kind of hurts.
4, 3, 2, 1.
4, 3, 2, no. Cannot end like this. What I have seen.
Nope. They didn't drop. What a shame. Now you'll notice everyone's coming in here. Every one of the Horde and every one of the Alliance. Yeah. Lord Walker Cho is here, Terran Zoo is here. So I want to point out we have Mechatork, Tyrande, Anduin. Looks kind of different back then than he does now. Varian, may he rest in peace. Jaina, Moira, I find it interesting. Of all the dwarves that could have been here representing the dwarves for the Siege of Orgrimmar, it's Moira. Not Muradin, not Falstad. Moira. And over here on the Horde, we have Lorthamar, Bane, Vol'jin, Sylvanas, and Gallywix. So you guys ready to see another awesome cutscene? Another awesome cinematic?
Friend, what is it you wish?
Thank you for helping me end the great mistake that I made long ago, that led our people into this dark place. I could not do it alone. Let me regain my honor and end Garrosh's reign of terror once and for all.
End it. For the Horde.
You disappoint me, Garrosh. You are not worthy of your father's legacy.
His punishment is not for you alone to decide.
I won't let you take him.
We have all suffered from his atrocities. My people, more than any other. Let him stand trial in Pandaria. There, we will mete out justice for all. The Horde needs its true war chief, now more than ever.
Yes, but it was you that held the Horde together during this madness. It was you that protected our honor. From this day forward, Vol'jin, if you lead, I will follow.
I am not worthy.
Yes, you are, Vol'jin.
But I will give my all for the Horde.
I will speak to your war chief.
I'll talk about the Alliance version of this cinematic in just a second, once it's over.
I speak for the Horde.
Very well. The Horde has committed heinous crimes, Vol'jin. But some among you fought against Garrosh's tyranny. For that, I am willing to end this bloodshed. But know this. If your Horde fails to uphold honor as Garrosh did, we will end you.
So first off, awesome cinematic. Second off, there is a difference. You do see something different if you are Alliance. The Alliance version of that cinematic, after after Thrall and Varian separate their weapons and walk away, the camera pans with Varian, and Jaina, and this is kind of where I think the meme and joke about Jaina being a Dreadlord kind of came into play, because she starts whispering in Varian's ear like, "Look at them over there, plotting and scheming what to do against us next. You could end all this, you know, Varian. You could end it once and for all. Do it. Dismantle the Horde." Like, she's like whispering it in his ear in a way that a Dreadlord, a Nathrazim, like Conjurus or Mal'Ganis or Veramothras, absolutely would have done in disguise. And that's kind of where I think the joke and meme came from, because it was just so like, oh my gosh, Jaina, you sound so evil saying that. But this is part of where it's part of Varian's growth as a character, because the Varian that we met in Wrath absolutely would have done that. We know this because he did that in the event of retaking back the Undercity from Veramothras. He went in there with the Alliance to stop Veramothras. He sees Thrall, and he gives a speech about how he thinks the world would be a better place without their kind, without the orcs. And he charges at Thrall to kill him. This was the type of leader and king that Varian was back in Wrath. But here, by the time we got to Pandaria, he had grown as a man and as a king. Where Anduin was like, when he hears Jaina, he says, "Guardsmen!" And he starts marching. Anduin's like, "What are you doing?" And he says, "What a king must do. Not to slaughter them all, but to do what we just saw, where he says, you know what? There were those of you who wanted Garrosh to stop, who fought against him. And so for that, let's end this bloodshed." That shows a lot of growth on his part as a character. And, you know, he had that whole arc of his. And then, of course, it would kind of expand a bit more in the little teasers for Warlords, but we'll get to that next time. So, yeah.
Lokar, friend. What is it you wish?
And so now you can go around and talk to other people. And there's something else I want to show you. You notice that exclamation mark there? This is what I was talking about earlier. But, hold on. There's a lot of stuff to talk about here. All right, hold on.
I thought Garrosh was ready. I thought the mantle of Warchief would give him perspective. Of the many problems facing our people, he saw only one solution. His vision of the Horde brought us to the brink. It is time for a new direction. Vol'jin will take us there. In many ways, he did not want this responsibility, but I think that will make him a better leader.
Agreed. That's what many of us have been saying about Sourfang for a long time. He doesn't want to be a leader. He doesn't want the position of Warchief. But that's one of the things that actually would make him a good leader. He didn't desire power. He didn't desire leadership. Neither did Vol'jin. And as short as his term as Warchief was, Vol'jin was still awesome. In fact, speaking of which, why don't we talk with Vol'jin? Our new Warchief.
Spear never gonna give up.
Stand tall, Death Knight. Today, you saved the soul of the Horde. Bane,
Spirits
sorry about
watch
your father.
over you.
We are all in this together. Death Knight.
We serve
I
as
proudly serve
caretakers
as
of
Regent
this
Lord.
world.
I find politics exhausting. I'm confident that Vol'jin will take us where we need to go. And he glances over at Sylvanas, assuming that he can hold this horde together. I like that
We find
Lorthamar,
strength
even at this
in the
point,
horde.
was suspicious of Sylvanas. Now, I want to show you something. If you, as a member of the Horde, if you go over to the Alliance to speak with them,
Stormwind's kings has been restored.
Varian says, I have nothing to say to you, Orc. Your people have a lot to answer for, but maybe
Never
this is a
again
new
will our
beginning.
kingdom
Ever seen such a place?
Varian actually has something to say to you. I think my father did the right thing. If we tried to occupy Orgrimmar, the fighting would never stop. And what about the rest of the Horde? Would we resort to internment camps? We've been down that road before. It doesn't work. We deposed of a warmonger and replaced him with a leader that we can work with. It's our only chance for peace in the future. So the two Rins are pretty much the only one who will say anything to you as a member of the Horde. Everyone else, however,
Peace is not always the answer.
I have nothing to say to you.
Ironforge has need
I have
of
nothing
our
to say to you.
sorcery, as well
And
as
they'll
our strength.
call you by your race. I could talk to Sylvanas and Galax, but I don't really care about that. But what I do care about, however, is this. Fading breath. The last gasp of Yasharaj. A dark, vaporous substance stains the floor of the room. This is all that remains of the old god, Yasharaj. Speak with Lord
Over
Watch.
here, hero.
Yes, Cho? Do you see? Even now it fades from beginning. I love the title of this quest. Why do we fight? Oh, my friend. Today you and your companions have put an end to the Shah that has plagued Pandaria since before time was recorded. You have accomplished that which even the Titans and their Mogu servants could not, destroying the last breaths of Yasharaj. Come, will you join me in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms? There is something that I would like you to bear witness to.
Tread lightly. My. This is all that remains of the terrible being that haunted Pandaria all these years. Whatever darkness it once exuded is silent at last. Now come with me, hero. Let us return to the Vale. There is someone, I think, who would be particularly interested in this turn of events, if we can get his attention.
Let's... Alright, so I think the quickest way I can do this is we'll hearth back to Dalaran, and then I'll go to Orgrimmar, and then I'll take the portal to Pandaria, and then we'll just fly over there. Ugh. Why would you have that as a pet? So again, for some weird reason, this quest we're doing right now, for some reason... Alright, there we go. I guess that buff was... I don't know. I guess it was making me run slower? I don't know. But for some weird reason, this quest is not
Tell me, other
available
travelers.
if you do that raid on Mythic.
Farewell.
I don't know why. I don't know why some of that stuff is not available on Mythic. Another example of this, if I didn't say so before, is the Nighthold in Legion. On Normal and Heroic, when you get to Guldan, he gives a couple of different speeches depending on if you're Alliance or Horde while he's working on it. And you can't attack him yet until he's done with his speech. On Mythic, When you go up there, he's already, like, floating in midair because of the ritual, and he doesn't even bother giving his speech. Now, normal and heroic, you don't get the extra phase where the demon within is an extra boss for you to fight. On Mythic, you do. So, you either have to get the speech from Guldan on either normal or heroic, or you get the demon within phase to fight in Mythic. I don't understand why Blizzard decides to divide this up instead of letting you have, like, to me, the ideal scenario, I understand keeping the extra phase out of normal and heroic. I understand that part. But let us have this you know, but then again, people who are just doing quick runs don't want to hear these role-playing speeches. They just want to get on with it. But, like, for example, when I was wanting to record it, I wanted him to have his speech, and I wanted to show off the demon within thing. But I can't do that because they're not available in the same difficulty. Alright, so the quest takes us back over here near the entrance of the raid. There he is. You can see all the trash that we dealt with from the raider here.
Hello.
Our precious veil of eternal blossoms. Ah. So much destruction and violence. But I sense a glimmer of hope.
Farewell. Dear Emperor, it is done. The darkness that you once struggled against has been purged from Pandaria. Forever. But the cost... such a terrible cost.
Do not despair the damage that was done here. You triumphed over the darkness I had locked away. You have shown Pandaria the power of a true hero. But the question still remains, why do we fight? I trust you have learned to fight out of fear or anger is to fight a war that never ends. Face your fears, calm your hatreds. Find peace within yourself so that you may share it with the world around you. These are the greatest treasures in life. Truly they are worth fighting for.
Thank you, Emperor. Thank you. Greetings.
What you have achieved today will shape the face of Pandaria for thousands of years to come. Thank you, hero. The lore walkers shall pass your story down from generation to generation.
Every good story needs a hero.
Huh. Hold on. Memory of the Horde. Oh, okay. Actually, you know what? Can I use this to show you guys the Alliance version? I I think I can.
You disappoint me, Garrosh. You are not worthy of your father's legacy.
His punishment is not for you alone to decide.
I won't let you take him.
We have all suffered from his atrocities. My people, more than any other. Let him stand trial in Pandaria. There, we will mete out justice for all.
Ugh, look at them. Already they plot against us. Seize this moment, Varian. Dismantle the Horde.
Guardsmen!
Father, what are you doing?
What a king must do.
I will speak to your war chief.
And that's it. That was the only difference I wanted to show you guys. That happens with the Alliance one. You see what I mean about Jaina?
Are you well?
Chi-Ji. This tree stands as a symbol of hope. Hope that the land might in time be healed and made stronger by your
Hope
deeds.
is eternal.
Welcome.
Hi, Zuen.
Your strength has helped free this land of its long-held darkness. It is my honor to witness your deeds with my own eyes,
Test
champion.
your might.
New Zhao just nods approvingly at you. Yulan. Oh, I thought she was going to say something. There is much work ahead of us if we are to heal the land and mend our wounds. But thanks to your deeds, we no longer must work in the shadow of the 7 breaths of Yasharaj. In time, the Shah will cease to be, and your name will be remembered with the reverence of the last emperor. So yeah. Can you see why I think this is a very awesome way to kind of wrap up and conclude all the Pandaria stuff? I mean, this is just awesome. Look at that. That was such a great quest, and it boggles my mind that you can't be able to get it if you do it on Mythic, but that's what I want to do on Heroic, and hey, still took my shot at the Tusks. Hopefully I'll get that at some point. But yeah, just to reiterate that, each of the Shah that we encountered in this expansion was a creation of the destruction of Yasharaj. They, like, came from Yasharaj. Like, all the Shah that we have had to deal with in this, pride, anger, fear, all of them were from Yasharaj. And culminating with Yasharaj trying to corrupt and influence Garrosh, basically. The fact that the heart of Yasharaj, the last remaining piece, was what was actually locked under Pandaria all this time, and it was causing all this corruption. It was just like, wow. So can you see why I'm actually one of those who actually really likes Pandaria, and just at times finds it funny when there are people out there that they just hate on it and they don't give a legit reason why. So anyway, that was the Siege of Orgrimmar. Awesome raid. Really like it. Really enjoy it. I just wish the Galakras encounter was a bit more soloable without the need of a pet there to defend. I wish I could be able to do that with other classes to get other sets, but I'm pretty much going to have to resort to having to join a group of people who are willing to go through it. And there are people who are still willing to set up groups for that. So this has gone on for a long time. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. When we return, we will be leaving the beauty of Pandaria and going to Warlords of Draenor with only 3 raids. 3 options. I like Warlords, but oh boy. So disappointing. Especially when you find out the backstory as to why it's disappointing. A bunch of behind-the-scenes absurdity that ruined what could have been such a great expansion. It could have been amazing. Instead, it ended up as it was. So disappointing. Such a shame. Because it could have been a absolutely fantastic expansion. High Mall, nah. You know, Black Foundry, oh, I really like that raid. Hellfire, it's alright. But, I'll try and show it to you, although the Blackrock Foundry thing is kind of similar in regards to, I'm probably going to need to use my Death Knight to solo that. But then again, whether or not I need to solo that on Mythic or anything, we'll have to wait and see. I could probably just do that on normal. Although, High Mall I actually need to do to Mythic, because there's a boss encounter that will not happen unless I do it on Mythic. So yeah, remember, they actually started to lock things off unless you did Mythic. Story, lore-wise, remember? Remember what I was saying about that? There's something else about this raid that I forgot to mention. The extra phase with Garrosh. On Mythic, there's an extra phase, by the way. You can see here, there's the Kor'kron Juggernaut mount available. There's an extra phase here with Garrosh on Mythic. Stage 3. My world. Green power, gain full energy, healing, empowering all of his abilities. And then you will go to a Realm of Yasharaj. Like, it's a different location. But because it's a different location, it doesn't let you have the mount, or not the mount, the quest to do this. Ugh, it's a weird thing. So it's time to wrap this up. We're like around 2.5 hours long. Oh my gosh. Alright. I'm going to rest my throat because it's starting to feel a little sore. And I will see you guys next time when we venture to Warlords of Draenor. Stay tuned.